Welcome back to another episode of Just Two Guys Talking. And today we have John's riding buddy with us tonight. Say hello, Duke.
Hi everyone.
Hello, everyone. Yes, yes, yes. John, how you doing?
I've been doing good. I've been doing good. We got a really nice ride last weekend, but we'll get to that in a little bit. But yeah,
Okay.
it's been doing really good.
All right. All right. Good, good, good. Thank you for bringing someone onto the show because I've been the one kind of pulling in guests, and I really appreciate that you brought one in. In a very loose format, this is what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about a couple of recalls, might even touch a little bit on Strava drama, hashtag Strava drama. And then we're going to talk about power meters, how power meters are not just for pro cyclists.
Bro,
And yep, yep. And then we're going to have John's amateur mechanic hour or mechanic amateur
mhm.
hour.
Do as I
Uh,
say, don't do as I do.
that's right. That's right. And always a disclaimer, we are just two guys talking, so we're not experts in anything.
Hmm.
And John will prove that with his amateur
Yes.
hour discussion. Did I cover all the things we might cover tonight?
Hmm.
Okay. All right. Let's start off with a couple of. So the first one is Vast, VAAST. Now, if some of you might recall that I had a video where a composite materials engineer came on and he was talking about how your next bike should be a metal bike. You,
I think he had the magnesium bike. Is that right?
yes, and that's what this is. This is the same company. This is Vast, the bike he was riding. So let me read this so that it is so there's no confusion. This was published on October 17th. And it goes on. Nearly 2,000 Vast A/1 bicycles and frames are being recalled because of a hairline fracture that can develop near a weld and cause the tubes to separate. Obviously, we don't want that. About 1,860 frames are affected in the US, plus about four that were sold in Canada. The CPSC has had 22 reports of frame fractures and three of
Wow.
those incidents of minor injuries
Ooh.
from falls. The frames were made in Taiwan of welded magnesium and sold by Alite. So it's Allite, Alite, which was later renamed Super Wheels, according to CSPC. And Vass and Allied Super Wheels were brands owned by United Wheels, which also owns, and now you'll get to some names you recognize, Huffy, Niner, and Batch bike brands.
Okay.
All right. The recall involves 35 bike models, 15 frames. The bikes were sold in berry red, sea blue, matte black, black forest green, and the frames have, it identifies the frames. And then it gives you the serial numbers. I'll attach that all in the show notes. But suffice it to say that they should not be riding these frames. Consumers should immediately stop using the Vast A1 bikes and frames and contact Super Wheels Incorporated for a free replacement. So that's
Right.
nice.
Yeah, new bike day coming up for somebody.
New bike day. Yeah, Super Wheels will provide the consumer with a replacement frame and pay up to $200 for a bike shop to rebuild the bike with a replacement frame. Now, $200 is not going to go far if
Yeah,
it
I was gonna
is.
say, George, how?
Yeah. Well, the thing that you're going to run into is like, for example, the frame of the gentleman that did the video. He's got internal cables and housing.
Oh
I'm sorry,
man.
internal hydraulic hoses, but he is running a SRAM system, so that's a little bit easier on
Hmm.
the wiring and stuff. Then I've got another. This was the 23rd, which is as of today. Favoto, so Favoto helmets.
Hmm.
The manufacturer has not agreed to recall, but CSPC has issued a warning to stop using these helmets because they violate safety requirements for positional stability, whatever that means, certification, that's important, and
Hmm.
labeling. They are company is out of China, has not agreed to recall or offered a remedy to consumers. So you're kind of out of luck. About 2,200 of these helmets were sold on Amazon between April of 22 to January of 25. They were sold in black, red, black padding, and there's other colors. But yeah, they just
Well,
they are not standing behind their product, is what I'm hearing.
hmm.
So they're not offering a replacement, no remedy or any, and oh, by the way, they are not agreeing to a recall. So
Oh, well, that's really disappointing. I was going to say, George, if you're in the shop, this would be a great time for you to hold up your Amazon swear jar to say, look, this is what
yeah,
you get.
this is why you don't purchase. Yes, exactly. And
And
then
that's not to say that all products Amazon are bad, you know.
no, no,
No.
not to say that, but you should support your local bike shop.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that one little sentence says a lot.
Yep.
Support your local bike shop. And then we have the Strava drama. So Strava sued Garmin, and apparently they had come to some agreement way back when, I don't know, 2015 or something. And it had to do with their heat maps or live segments or whatever. They came to some agreement, but then I don't know. Strava doesn't think that Garmin is abiding by that agreement, and yeah, it's just a bunch of drama. And then there's some other thing where Strava has to. I'm sorry, Garmin was um, labeling every activity, and yeah, it just a mess. But anyway, Strava is dropping the patent infringement lawsuit that it filed 20 days ago. Now, this made a huge hubbub everywhere. So
Mm-hmm.
if you want to know more about it, I would go to DC Rainmaker. He did a very good video about it, talked about all these patents and who did what first. And so that he covers it very well, and I don't want to waste too much time on that. But that's kind of, everyone's trying to use this the same kind of software to, I don't know. It's just a topic that's just not interesting to me, but I know that there's a lot of Strava users, and oh, by
Yeah.
the way, they want to go public. So, and I guess they're valued at some ridiculous number. So,
Mm-hmm.
like during the dot-com era.
Yeah. And just to throw it out there, because you've said it before, Strava is not a training app, it's a social app.
Strava is a social media app. Correct. This is important only because when people um I mean it's a gateway drug
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
for a better training software. But if you're using a power meter, which we will get into in a few minutes, if you're using a power meter, the gold standard is Training Peaks. Unfortunately, that annual membership has continued to go up. I think it's up to $119 per year now. But if you are very, um, very interested in how these metrics look, aside from what Strava tells you, yeah, Training Peaks is a gold mine of data. And,
And
and
then
for some
George,
people, yes, sir.
oh, if we could talk about Training Peaks a little bit, because
Yes,
I had downloaded the app
yes.
and I think there's a free version and then
Okay,
there's the subscription version.
okay.
Are you familiar with like is the free version worth anything or is it just you get a little bit, but the subscription's really where you get.
I honestly don't even know what the free version looks
Okay.
like. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, so I cannot recommend it or dissuade you from using it
Hmm.
because I don't know anything about it. I've been a paid it's sad to say, but I've been a paid member of Training Peaks for a very long time. In fact, for a while, because I was an influencer way back before YouTube. I had a coaching edition of it. So that means,
Hmm.
I could
Hmm.
download other people's stuff, have all these different athletes, so it wouldn't interfere with my data. Because now that's what I have to do. Download the thing, look at it, and then delete it. So it doesn't impact my information. But for years I had that because I was an influencer. Let's get on to some of your topics, John. What do you want to start with?
Well, I was going to say, speaking of power meters, we,
Yes.
we can talk to Duke a little bit about his power meter experience because last week we rode in the Cycle of Hope, which is a charity ride for Habitat for Humanity, and it was 100K, so 65-ish miles. And I would say that's about double what we normally ride.
Okay.
Um,
And
so,
that's combining your two coffee shop rides, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Because you
yep,
ride, you have coffee for 3 hours, and then you ride back, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Is that how it goes? Okay. So you have two
Yeah.
rides. You do double sessions every time you go out and ride.
It's about 15 miles one way, and then you break and you have coffee, you chit chat, and then you come back.
So then this ride was 65 miles. What kind of
Mhm.
climbing did you have on this ride?
What was it, Duke? 2,000 feet, I think, ish. There, there's one
Um,
big climb.
I know Del Val is around 1,000 feet of
Hmm.
climbing. So I think the combined elevations are around, yeah, almost 2,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
So
some rolling hills there
Yeah.
to
so
make up the other 1,000.
a fairly light ride, right? Because I mean,
Yeah.
65 miles with only 2,000 feet. Yeah, that's a
Hmm.
nice, easy ride. Okay.
Hmm.
So what can you tell me?
Well, I tend to have cramps every single time when I ride with, I do like uh, 20 miles, I don't get a cramp. But every time I do, I hit like 30 miles. That's when the cramp comes out of nowhere. And it just hit me out of the blue. And I just couldn't seem to find out what's going on.
Hmm.
I also, I tried pickle juice, electrolytes, gummy worm, and all that kind of stuff. And it just didn't work at all. And the first time I hope I rode, I had a cramp. The second one, I had a cramp. And I did the bridge ride with John, which is around 45 miles. I got a cramp. I got cramp too, and it's not fun. That ruins your ride. And so, until George mentioned about power meter, before that, I didn't know what the heck the power meter is. And for me, you just hop on the bike and you ride, right? And you ride as
Sure.
long as you can. But when that cramp comes on, I'm trying to figure out what the hell's going on. So I got the power meter and I set my power meter to 3 seconds for 1.5 kilowatt. And so on Cycle of Hope Day, I load up some prep juice and
Ah, yes.
yeah. So uh, I was afraid I'm gonna get cramp again. I don't know what's going on, but I just follow. They stick with 1.5 kilowatt per second,
Yeah.
and I got up to Del Val. I started climbing, which is around 7.8, gradient, which isn't really bad. Uh, every time I climb, I always stand up, and I was doing like 3 kilowatts. Well,
Yeah.
I'm hitting like so. So this time I was like, you know what? I'm gonna say at 2.5. You know, and stick that way, stay that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
I got to the top Dale Val. I had a sandwich and came back, I got all the way back to the finish line, and I wasn't cramped up at all. And I continued to drink red juice throughout the whole ride because I didn't eat anything at all at the support stand. And voila, I was very happy.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
let's put a few of these things in perspective for the viewers. Um, so on your cycling computer,
Mhm.
and this is for the audience, on your cycling computer, I have recommended to the people in my power thread to put on there watts per kilogram so that they know, okay, based on my body weight, I'm going to do 2 watts. And this is what Duke was just saying about 2.5 or 3. And when you see that number, well, I can hold that number for 2 minutes or I can hold that number for 2 hours, right? There's each one of these different, you know, like 3 watts per kilogram, I can only hold for a few minutes, whereas 1.5, I can hold the entirety of this climb and be just fine, right? So there's that. The other thing is that if you recall in that power thread, I said that most people or cramps mainly come on from lack of fitness, right? They don't, the pickle juice and the electrolytes and all this product that people want to shove down your throat. It really comes from lack of fitness. If you don't ride, you ride too hard. So for a lot of people, when they go out and ride and they have too much intensity for their fitness, they will cramp. In a roundabout way, you discovered this because you stuck to your numbers on your power meter, and that's why you didn't cramp.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a very important point because I've talked about this on the channel that everyone should have a power meter and it gets everybody's panties up in a twist. And I'm like, look, power meters are not just for pro cyclists. People just like you, sir, were able to stave off cramps. Why? Because you use the power meter to pace yourself. It isn't so you can go hard. You used it for just the opposite. Let me go easier so I can enjoy this ride with my mates without being on the side of the road with a cramp.
Yeah, and just to kind of accentuate that power meters are not just for professionals, me and Duke, we do maybe 1,500 miles a year, which is not much,
Right.
not much.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the power meter basically, ensured that his ride was enjoyable the whole time.
And
Because
this is also what people say. Oh, I just ride my bike for joy. I just ride my bike for fun. Well, I would argue you would have more fun if you weren't blowing yourself up on a climb.
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I did before the power meter. And I have the tendency to, naturally just kind of like start out really fast and I don't really think about it. And I just ride and I just out there. And the next thing I know, I was like, you know, my legs are locked up. And when
Mm-hmm.
I sat that power meter and I looked at it, I go, I'm doing like 3 kilowatt. I got to slow down, got to drop down to 1.5, stick with 1.5, maintain that position. And it turned out to be, it's turned out to be working just fine for me. And my legs didn't get locked up. And
Yeah.
I, yeah. And,
Yeah, this is a testimonial of how important pacing is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some people are pretty good. They know how to pace themselves without any metrics, or maybe they use heart rate. But some folks maybe just need a little bit more scientific data to pull back on the reins. And I'll share with you a story on the opposite end of the spectrum. So last Friday, I was just doing some climbing stuff in my area, and I'm pulled over on the side of the road looking at a pickup truck that's got this boot. on it, right? For
Mm-hmm.
parking enforcement. And I'm taking a picture of it, and out of the corner of my eye, I see this blur of four cyclists going up the road, and I'm like, oh. So I put my phone in my pocket, and I'm trying to get on the bike, and I'm trying.
Mm-hmm.
So these four guys are in a pace line on this, like, I don't know, 2-ish, 3-ish% grade before it kicks up to 9, 10, 12. And I'm like, oh my God, can I catch them? I don't know. And so I'm looking at my power. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, I can chase at this number. So in other words, I didn't go hog wild and just chase to get on the wheel.
Mm-hmm.
I used the power meter to pace myself at about 4 watts per kilo because I said, unless they're really good, they're not going to stay away from me. If I keep holding 4 watts per kilo, I will catch them,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they start coming backwards, right? Two of them. Then I caught the third one. The fourth one was up the road, and I kept chasing him, kept chasing him. I'm 60 years old. I hit 183 heart rate chasing this kid.
Ooh,
He's 30.
hummingbird.
Yes, he's 31. I find out later. Well, I'll tell you about that later. And I chase and I chase and I chase. And we're on, and I drove you up that road, Duke. It's the long, steady grade that I said is like 9% the whole
Yes,
way.
right.
Ooh,
9, 10% the whole way.
ouch.
And I'm chasing this guy and I'm chasing him. And I caught him. And I kind of play this game with some of my other friends. And I'm like, tag, you're it type of thing, right? And I caught him and I'm next to him and I'm like, man, that was a hard chase. Because they knew I was standing on the side of the road. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I was probably 10 seconds
Mm-hmm.
uh in arrears before I even got a chance to snap in,
Yeah.
to my pedals, right? And anyway, so the point is that I used my power meter to not crack until I caught him
Mm-hmm.
because I was holding 4.5, and just at the last surge, the last like minute or two to close that last bit, I'm like, okay, now I can go.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was holding 5 watts per kilo to close that last gap. And that's when my heart rate just freaking exploded, right? And I caught him and I said, that was a hard chase. And then I said, now you go, because I'm about to just blow up over here. But it was just a thing for me to catch him. That was the most important
Yeah.
thing for me, was can I catch him? So later I look him up, and he's been racing pro U23. He's been racing pro as an adult, as older than 23.
Mm-hmm.
He's 31 years old. And I mean, this guy was insanely strong, but I
Yeah,
caught
he
him.
should be in his prime.
Yeah, exactly, right? And then I stayed with them for a little bit more of that ride, and the guy just has an enormous engine because he just popped me off his wheel a few more times after that. But I was better than the rest, and so
Mm-hmm.
better than his other riding mates that he was with. So you can use the power meter for two different things.
Yeah, and
Well,
George,
many things,
I
many
want
things, but in this case, pacing yourself easy or pacing yourself hard. Yes, sir. I'm
hmm
sorry.
I wanted to ask, as you were reeling back those guys one at a time, did you look down and see were any of them using a power meter?
I didn't have the time.
Yeah.
I was.
Because I remember in one of our previous episodes, that's how you know when it's going to be on or not, if
Yes,
they've
no,
got
you're
a power
right.
meter.
You're right. And because I was passing them on the left, I couldn't see the crank spider.
Mm-hmm.
I was passing on the left as you're supposed to. And so I couldn't tell. Um, and at the regroup, one guy had a flat. So I just kind of was shooting a breeze with them as they were changing the flat, and I ignored the power meter thing. But yes, I do, because Duke doesn't know about this. So if I'm on someone's wheel and I know they have a power meter, then I have to play it a lot smarter because I'm thinking to myself, he's got a power meter, so he knows what power he's doing. He or
Mm-hmm.
she, by the way. So he knows what power he's holding. And so he should know that, well, I can. I can hold this power for this long,
Mm-hmm.
or I need to go a little harder to drop this guy, which I know I can hold a little harder than this, right? So when I see power meters on people, I start to worry that I'm pretty soon going to get
Mm-hmm.
dislodged.
Yeah, it almost seems like if when you see that they have a power meter, it almost turns into a little bit of a cat and mouse because it's like, okay, I know what I'm doing, and therefore I kind of know what he's doing, and now
Yes.
we're both aware of
Well, for
of
sure.
mm-hmm,
And this is important because this is why I use watts per kilogram. And I tell you folks to start getting used to watts per kilogram because Duke, you're what, 200 pounds or so, right?
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So if you tell me you were holding 300 watts, that's not as impressive as John holding 300 watts because he's only 100 and what, 50? What do you weigh?
142 now. I'm at my fighting weight.
Wow, 142. Geez, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's how much I weighed when I was in high school.
Yeah, yeah. I weighed that probably my whole career in the Marine Corps, all 12 years of it. But but yeah, so if you say 300 watts, that's not as impressive as him saying 300 watts at 142. And I'm 150 something. When we talk in watts per kilogram, and if you have it on your computer, then when you're sitting on someone's wheel, you know what they are doing,
Mm-hmm.
right? You don't
Mm-hmm.
have to do the calculation of, oh, does he weigh like 160? How much power is he putting out? You don't have to do that. You're looking at your computer. Your computer says 4 watts per kilo. That's what he's doing,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Because regardless of how much he weighs, if you're riding behind each other or side by side, you're both doing 4 watts per kilo, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yes, yeah, when I see that someone has a power meter, I have to yeah, we're playing chicken or cat and mouse or something.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Like who's gonna accelerate or who's
Mm-hmm.
gonna pop? It's always who's gonna accelerate or who's gonna pop. And so yeah, he didn't accelerate. He could maintain what he was doing. And I had been chasing for so long that I mean I just wanted to catch him before we crested. And I was like this close to doing that, but he was just too strong. I mean that's just there's what have I always said? There's always somebody faster.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's always somebody stronger.
And a few episodes back, I had my Raleigh frame that I purchased. And so I was gonna transfer my 9-speed Campy onto the Raleigh. And it's a square taper. And so I got out my square taper puller,
Center it.
going it
There
this
you
way.
go.
Let me, if
Yeah,
I go like
center
There you
it.
that.
go.
Probably. Yeah, that does it. There
All
you
right.
go.
Yeah. Thank you, Russ, for showing me how to do this.
Yes, I learned that from him too.
Yeah. So I thread it into the crank, and then I start tightening in the little pusher in the middle. And so it gets there, and I'm using my little hand wrenches, and it's not moving.
15 mil.
And it's still not moving. I thought, okay, well maybe it's rusted. This is an old bike. It's seen rain. So I go get the bigger wrench. Still not moving. Thought, okay, let me go get my cheater pipe and my big wrench. And so I start cranking on it, and it finally goes soft. And then, okay, I can do it. And then I noticed that the arm is not coming off the spindle. Um, and what had happened is this piece,
Had you left the big piece in there that
I had left
prevents
the
it?
big piece in there.
Yeah.
The
I
this
I didn't yeah, I didn't want to
this
steal your
piece.
thunder, but I was starting to diagnose it in my head. Wait a minute. He left a big piece still in there.
Yes. So instead of pushing on the spindle, it was pushing on itself, and I just ripped the threads right out. Um, Luckily, I was able to remove the threads that came off with the tool, and it was still able to thread back in. And with the correct smaller adapter, then it popped right off with the tiny wrench, left hand doing all the
No
work.
cheater pipe.
No cheater pipe, no cheater pipe. But boy, was I just the amount of force it took, I was just shocked. And then the amount of horror when I saw that the arm was not moving off.
You
Well,
could have used an
uh,
impact gun.
yeah.
Oh, it was getting there. It was getting there.
So I will admit that I probably done something similar to that, which is how I knew that you still had the big adapter in there.
Hmm.
And the thing is that um, you just don't see square taper bottom brackets as much.
Hmm.
And my track or my fixed gear bike, which is it's a fixed gear bike with road geometry, so it's not a track bike. It's not,
Hmm.
that bike. I hate to say this. Oh my God. I have a Campagnolo bottom bracket in it
What? Well, I didn't hear that. I didn't. Can you
and
speak into the mic?
a Campagnolo crankset.
Oh my God.
I know. I'm embarrassed to say it. And Campy brake levers.
Wow. George, how the mighty have fallen. How did you start way up on the mountain and then now you're in the gutter?
Yeah, but see, the thing is, you don't have to shift on that bike. And it's the shifting of Campagnolo that I think is horrible. So on a fixed gear, you don't have to shift. So
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, it has a track Campagnolo crankset and a Campy bottom bracket,
Hmm.
loose ball, and then it also has like I said, the Campy brake levers, and I have two sets of wheels for it, and one set has some Campy hubs, and then the other wheel set is a Philwood high flange
Oh,
hub.
nice.
No, it's beautiful. Both the wheel sets are beautiful. But the Philwood high flange hub is clincher, and then the Campy hub wheel set is tubular. So guess what wheel
Mm.
set would get more riding? Yeah. But yeah, these are both beautiful, chrome and
Hmm.
clean and um, stainless spokes and all that stuff, right? So
Wow.
they're very, very traditional wheels. I might actually start riding my fixed gear over the winter months. But the point is that that's the only one of my, well, there's one other bike, but that never needs any work. But um, yeah, it's just you're gonna make these mistakes when you don't do something
Hmm.
often.
And you make it only once usually.
Well, you hope that you
You hope you only make it once.
you hope you only
I'm
make
gonna
it
run out
once.
of cranks if I do this. Keep doing this.
Yeah, yeah. Well, when you finally got that bottom bracket out, was it serviceable? Was it in good
Oh yeah,
condition?
it was really smooth. It's totally usable.
Yeah,
And it was actually a sealed bearing. I was expecting bearings to just be dripping on the floor
yeah.
one at a time, but yeah, this one was all set
Well, good. All right. So you moved everything over to which bike?
to the Raleigh, to the my Raleigh International, the blue eBay bike that I had gotten a
Okay,
few
I thought
episodes
that's
ago.
what you were taking the components off of.
No, I was taking it off of, I have an old steel Bianchi Eros that
Oh, right.
had the
Okay.
9 speed
Okay. So you put that 9 speed on the Raleigh.
on the
Is that on the
Raleigh.
road yet?
It is almost on the road. It needed a, front derailleur clamp. It was not a braze on. So I got the clamp and then I just need the time to put it on. And then she'll hit the
Well,
road and with these nice 32 chunky wheels, since I've been riding 25s.
okay. So let's go back to this. So what brake calipers you got on that then?
Oh, I had to get some Tektro long reach. I'm sure I mean, there's basically only one that's long reach at this point.
Okay. All right. And then now you've got Because the long reach can only be done if the if the brake bridge is high enough.
Hmm.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so this is a pretty old bike where I needed to get the not recessed, but the nutted brakes also. So that was another adventure of, oh, this hole doesn't really seem to fit my current brakes.
Oh, hey, I before I forget, I thought about you today because did you get a chance to see the unboxing video of the Hamsten bike?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, that was
We
a nice
did.
bike.
Yeah, so I built that over the last two
Ooh,
days,
yeah.
and I just shot a video of it, the bike profile. He had the little cherry bombs,
Oh, he did.
so you'll see them in the video. Okay, so I believe there was one more topic you wanted to cover, and that
Hmm.
was the Quimby Road Challenge that I
Yes. The Quimby Road
that
Challenge.
I put forth.
Hmm. So, a little while back, George, you on one of the episodes, I mentioned that my Waterford had got a cracked fork from a crash. And so recently I was able to get a new steel bike, well, a new to me steel bike.
Right?
And um, I'm going to go ahead and put it up on the screen. And I'm going to blame Louis Scott for this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's very similar to his Bianchi Pinella,
Okay.
where he had the boron steel tubing on it, and he has the Marco Pantani paint scheme
Yeah.
on it. So this bike is going to basically take over from the Waterford. But
Okay.
when I had originally bought it, it came with a 10-speed Shimano triple on it.
Okay. All right.
And so for the Quimby Road Challenge, what I'm thinking is we've got in one corner my Carbon Bianchi Ultra with its Chorus 11 speed gearing, which
Okay.
is a 5236 in the front and a 3234 cassette in the back, something like that. And when I looked up the gearing on the what came with the Bianchi, it was roughly the same with the 10-speed triple that it had. So in one
Because it
corner we
probably
have the
only had like what, a 25 in the back or something, or
I think it was a 27 in the
yeah,
back.
right,
Yeah.
right.
So in one corner we've got the Bianchi Ultra with the Campy 11 speed,
Yeah,
and in the other corner we're gonna have a Bianchi steel bike with a Shimano 10 speed triple.
right.
And while this isn't completely apples to apples, I can make the weight I can make the weight very similar with a water bottle ballast on it. Um, and I'm I'm almost afraid that the 10 speed Shimano is going to come out on top, because that's the one I would intend to do with your power guidance for
Right.
the
Well,
challenge.
so 36, 34 would be the gearing on the Ultra.
The Ultra is a 36, 32, 36, 32.
Oh, so you don't, okay. So you don't have a 34 on that bike.
No, no.
Okay. All right. And then this bike has what, like a 28?
This would be I believe it's a 30 in the smallest
Yeah.
and a 27 in the back for the cassette.
Okay. And you've done the gear inch calculator and you say it comes out pretty close?
It's close. It's pretty close. Yeah,
Which
we can.
which which one has better gearing?
I want to say
Okay.
it's going to be the 10 speed.
All right. Um, because I mean if we're talking like a 10% average grade the whole way up, I mean,
Hmm.
the more gearing the better.
Hmm. So we'll be slanted slightly in Shimano's favor.
Right. Well, I mean, it's just because it has that triple, because that
Hmm.
27 is
Hmm.
really really small gear by today's standards. I mean, the bike I just built for that gentleman, it's a 5034 with a 1134. So,
hmm
that's more of the gearing you see these days,
hmm hmm
as opposed to that, 1127 cassette, which was big in those days, right? But
Yeah, yeah,
bringing
that
it
was
as
a cassette
far.
to be ashamed of.
Indeed. No, no doubt. Um, because what I'm curious, and I won't know until you do a trial run, which
hmm
I was also thinking that maybe you should just go up it just to go up it. Like, don't even try to get um, a PR, or don't even bother going hard. Just go up it, just so I could see what kind
hmm
of cadence you're doing, what power you're doing, and what heart rate you're doing, so I can get some gauge of how this climb affects you as you're going up it.
Yeah, well, I will say, George, that the Quimby Road, there's no taking it easy.
No, well, no, of course, you said
Yeah.
it's 10% average, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, anything that's double digits is it's not easy. But
hmm
what I'm saying is you're not going for a PR.
I
That's what I meant.
the 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 competitor in me, if I know that this is a time that's going to matter, I'm going for it, full send.
But that's what the power meter's for, so that you don't have
Yeah.
to do that.
See, and this will totally illustrate that point. Like, if I'm out there and burning myself out, and then on the second ride, if I go the number, which, I will give it a true, honest, I will hold the number when you say this is the number you should be at, then we'll see.
All right.
We'll see.
The thing is that it's harder to psych yourself out to go out for a 90% effort than to just go out and just ride it just so we can get some data from it.
hmm
You
hmm
don't have to go, well, you do you. You do you. Just give me the data. That's all I want to know. And then, tell me what the perceived effort was for that data. So,
Well, I think Wayne Gretzky had a great quote on playing hockey. He said that we play hockey at two speeds, fast and flat out.
yeah, I guess there's that. Um, okay, so when you just to geek out for a minute, when
hmm
you normally climb it, which bike and what gearing do you use?
Typically I'll go with the Ultra because I know that that's going to be easier. Until now, that was the bike that had the easiest gearing that I had.
Okay. And then you're in your 36, 32 then?
And yes, yeah, at some point I will hit that bailout gear.
Well, you should be hitting it from the very bottom.
I should be,
I
but
mean,
again.
right. So, I mean, if it is really 10% average all the way up, why aren't you in that 32 until bailout? That doesn't make any sense to me. What's your cadence going up that thing?
It's all over the place because I like to stand up and then I'll sit down, catch my breath, stand up and then sit down. Um, so
Okay,
it's
we're gonna get rid of all that.
yeah, I figured.
We're gonna, we're gonna get rid of all that stuff. You're gonna stay seated more than standing, or
hmm
or you're not gonna stand as often. You're gonna stay seated. I want, you know, well, this is what I'm trying to figure out. I mean, what
hmm
cadence are you holding on this thing? Are you at anywhere near 80? No, right?
Probably not, no.
Okay, so then you should be getting a 34 cassette on that bike.
hmm Which Campy doesn't really support.
Uh,
Ah.
why do you ride that stuff? It just doesn't. There's no redeeming value of it. Anyway, okay, so 32 is the biggest you can get.
hmm
Um, I mean, you may have to put a 5034 crankset on there then, or chain rings.
Yeah, that has crossed my mind, and my chain rings are starting to wear out a little bit. So that would probably be my next. It when it comes time to replace them, I probably would step down to the compact.
Okay. And I'm only talking about this double digit grade climb
Hmm.
that's 3 miles long, right?
Hmm.
So you are far more efficient at around an 80 cadence than you are at a 60 cadence.
Hmm.
I mean, and if you shift up and stand, you're probably in a 50 cadence,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
I
And there's
mean,
that 180 heartbeat.
yeah, I mean, look, there's no more shame in anyone's game anymore. This
Hmm.
this is all gone now. You know, when SRAM came out with these reduced chain rings, I don't know what they're like 4837 or something like that.
Hmm.
1133 cassettes, 1130. Look at the age of gear shaming is over. The days or the years of gear shaming, that's past tense. It doesn't exist anymore.
Hmm.
So just put whatever you need to get a good steady cadence and stay seated for a good period of time because every time you stand, I stand too. It
Hmm.
there's nothing wrong with standing and sometimes you need to relieve that whatever strain or this leg is or this part of my leg is loading up, so I'm going to stand and relieve that. And then,
Hmm.
but you are far more efficient if you stay seated
Oh
and
yeah.
you can have, and I'm not talking like a 90 cadence, but it's a 10% grade. You should have at least a 75 to 80 cadence up that thing.
Hmm.
If you don't have that and you can't hold that while keeping your heart rate down, then you gotta switch up your gearing.
Hmm. Hmm.
Obviously, that's just one climb. It's not what you do every day. It's not where you ride every day. But, you know, it's gotten to the point where Jess and we have 34s on our bikes now, all the time.
Hmm.
And then we use it or not use it, but it's there, right?
Hmm.
With the 5236. Now I got back on my Tomasini X-Fire, and that has, very traditional gearing, a 5339 and
Ooh,
1128. And
ouch.
today I did, a 5,000 foot climbing ride in like, I don't know, 28 miles. And then the last four descending back to the shop.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, lots of steep stuff. And that's why I'm saying you're probably doing a 50 cadence on this double digit grade
Hmm.
because I'm doing that on my 3928 gearing. So anyway, that's just advice from an old guy.
Hmm.
Just advice from an old man who, now, yeah, I don't mind putting a 32 or a 34 on my bike, even though
Hmm.
I used to be the gear shamer.
Well, I'll tell you that my Ultra, it came with a 27 or a 28 stock on it. And I had done Quimby Road a couple times with it, and I could make it, but boy, when you get to the top, it just kills you. And then I thought, well, let's put the how high a gear will this thing accept?
Yeah,
And then so that's where I got the put the 32, I got the medium cage on it. And yeah, the first ride with that, it was such a godsend.
yeah.
Having the those basically two extra gears, two extra sizes on there.
But I need some data.
Hmm.
I need something that you can forward to me so I can look at it in the Training Peak software. Oh, and going back to that, so you said you downloaded the app. Did you use it at all? I was confused about that when you
I used it
about
on a
the
couple
Training Peaks.
rides. Yeah, I
No, the
used it on a
Training
couple
Peaks app.
rides. Yeah, yeah, the Training Peaks ride, I think I imported one of my rides into it, or I activated it to sync with one of my with Yahoo with Wahoo,
Yeah.
um, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. I'm curious because like I do very little on the phone app because it to me it's pretty much worthless.
Hmm.
It's too hard to navigate. It's too hard to see what you're looking at. And I mean, I think that that's just good if you're traveling, maybe. But yeah, the desktop. Have you looked at it on the desktop
No, I haven't looked at
version?
it the desktop at all.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's just a personal thing. I mean, there's just things I prefer to do on a laptop or,
Hmm.
desktop version than
Hmm.
on a phone app. Um, but at this point, you don't know what you're looking for either. So, we could have a tutorial about that. In fact, I was thinking about doing my 30-day of my birthday
Hmm.
month challenge, which ended up being like 32 days straight. Um, and just to show people what happens to the training load, what happens to this, and blah, all the metrics and a lot analysis you can do from having that much data. Um, I don't know how many people would come along on that ride with me, but because I mean there is just a lot of information that you can glean from your power meter, right? I mean, it's more than just that you mash the pedals for 3 hours.
Hmm.
There's a lot that comes from that. And if the FTP is in there fairly accurate and your training zones are fairly accurate, then you can start to see this cumulative load
Hmm.
and how this training stress is increasing throughout the month. And then you could also see when you take a couple of rest days, how all of a sudden your body, you're not going to probably feel it, but in the training software you could see where you should be recovering, and then this should be a time frame when you sh look, the basics of training:
Hmm.
create a load, recover, refresh, and then when you are in a very refreshed rate, then that's when you race,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? So yeah, you could see that on my training software. So what else you got?
That's really about it. And just to wrap up the Quimby Road
Yes.
challenge,
Yes.
when I go for my data ride,
Hmm.
the ideal case for you to give you the best data possible, um, stay seated, stay consistent, or just go hog wild?
Just ride the way you ride,
Yeah.
right? But I I'm not personally, I don't want you to go super hard. I mean, I just, like
Hmm.
a 80-90%, but I don't want you to go 90 to 100% of your effort. I
Yeah.
just I just want something. I mean, you can
Yeah.
extrapolate out if someone tells you, well, yeah, my perceived effort was about 80% of what I'm capable of. Well,
Okay.
then you can extrapolate from that what you should target. But I want to see, based on gearing and, I want to see what kind of cadence, because we could just abandon the whole thing and just wait till you get chain rings because I mean, or we could do it. Well, what bike did you set the PR on?
That was the Ultra. Yeah, that
Well,
was the Ultra.
there's that.
Hmm.
So 142. So what did you weigh? What was Pandemic John weighing?
Pandemic John was actually heavier. I want to say closer to 150.
Yeah, well, four
Yeah.
kilo, 4 kilos makes a difference.
Yeah, I made it to 142 when I was training for the Cycle of Hope 100K. And originally I wasn't expecting to kind of drop that much weight, but then I caught a stomach bug, which just flushed everything out.
Hey, wait a minute. I'm glad you brought that up because we
Hmm.
never did talk about that. about how Rev Energy was the only thing you could hold down. Do you remember
Oh,
that?
that's right. Yeah.
All right, so why
Yeah.
don't you talk about that for a bit?
Yeah. So little while back, I got a stomach flu or food poisoning, and my stomach was just not holding anything in. It was just coming in and within 30 minutes going straight out. And Rev Energy was really great because it was very gentle on my stomach, and I was hydrating, and without too much detail, low residue, low output.
Well, it is a liquid fuel,
hmm
so
hmm
but I think you were surprised that it's it was not upsetting your stomach anymore.
Yeah.
Did it settle it or did it just
Well, when I would eat solid food, my stomach definitely did not like it. But when I drank the Rev Energy, it just seemed fine.
which is what typically happens when people are out riding and they have an issue,
hmm
right? They've overloaded on simple sugars or whatever, and now their stomach's all jacked up, and it's like, hey, you know what? Try this.
hmm
You know,
Yeah,
and then
and I will say that on the Cycle of Hope, I did bring two baggies worth. So two scoops in each bag. So
right.
what's that? 200 calories a baggie, I
Per
think.
bag, yep, yep,
Yeah. And I followed your advice once an hour. I should be done with the bottle.
yep,
And it was great. I felt fresh the
yep.
whole time.
Now, Duke said he didn't have any solid foods all day, and he was also using Rev Energy. What did you have?
I had Rev Energy and some of the goo gels that they were giving out at the stations. But Duke lied. He had a
Oh,
sandwich from
oh,
Lazy Dog at
you're
one of the
calling him
food
out.
stations. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, he had a sandwich where?
It was at the top of the climb. They had a rest stop there, and it was catered by Lazy Dog. So thank you, Lazy Dog, for showing up and feeding everybody. Awesome.
Yep.
I got to the top Dale Valley. I had a sandwich and came back and
All right. So he had a sandwich. So okay.
hmm He
And
had a sandwich.
you had some gels.
I had gels and Rev,
Okay. And your
and that was
stomach was
it.
fine.
Yeah, and I was fine. No stomach issues, no need to find the porta potties or anything. Yeah, it was great.
Well, that's good.
hmm
Because sometimes, they're not anywhere to be found and yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no. And I think the previous year I had a Red Bull and that really messed me up. My stomach did
Oh.
not like Red Bull.
Oh. Well, see, like you said before, you make a mistake, you only make it once.
Make it once. That's why I don't have Red Bull.
Yeah, fortunately, I've not had any trouble with Red Bull. Um, I just I don't reach for it when I go to a convenience store. I usually get a Coke,
hmm
and I know that that is good for my stomach in mid ride or if I'm bonking,
hmm
which is rare, but if I am, or sometimes I just want to change a flavor, right? So I grab a Coke and a Danish and I get back on the bike. But yeah. Okay. So we covered everything, you think?
Yep, that is everything.
That is everything. All right. Well, give my regards to Duke. I really appreciate him taking a few minutes of his evening to spend with us. And it sounds like he had a little bit more fun than his work meetings anyway.
Hmm Definitely.
And I appreciate your time tonight as well. And for everyone else that's still watching, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you up the road.